Hello everyone and welcome back to theCUBE's live coverage of SAS Innovate here in Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Rebecca Knight, sitting alongside my co-host and analyst, Scott Hebner. Scott, intelligent decisioning, that is the name of the game today.
It is, and as I pointed out earlier today, that theme came across very strongly in the keynote. Very well done how it tied everything together. And since I've been here, I've been checking out the booths and focusing on the trustworthy part of all this. A lot of good stuff here.
A lot of good stuff, and we're going to get into it in this next segment. I would like to introduce our next guest. We have Eduardo Joia. He is the CTO and Managing Director of Financial Services Industry at Microsoft. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Eduardo. And Jared Peterson, who's been busy on the main stage this morning, SVP of Platform Engineering at SAS. Thank you both so much for coming on the CUBE.
Happy to be here. Yeah, awesome.
So, SAS and Microsoft have been partners for nearly 5 years. I want to start with you, Eduardo, and have you talk a little bit about how the relationship has grown and what it means for customers, particularly at a time when AI and data are moving at breakneck speeds.
Well, we're great partners. We've been partners for 5 years. We have, SAS and Microsoft, we have built this decision builder, which is part of the package. It sits within Fabric, right? And it's another service that we have there. And basically, as a platform, it enables you to have access to the 1,800 LLM services that we have. So it opens the door, creates a very powerful platform on top of which Jared here can build specialized products for their customer set.
Yeah, I mean, when I think about the Microsoft and SAS partnership, first of all, we work just really, really well together. Our teams really enjoy working together. There's a lot of kind of cross-pollination. When you think about the partnership, you can kind of think about it in phases, So first, at SAS, we're just really big consumers of Azure. So we build a lot of our business on top of the Azure ecosystem and all the services there. But we also are kind of partnered together of trying to, how do we actually sell Viya together, right? How do we take Viya into Microsoft accounts? How does Microsoft, how can they help our customers maybe if they're going through a cloud migration, that kind of thing. But from the R&D perspective, kind of where I'm coming from, maybe the most exciting part of the partnership is kind of where Eduardo just was thinking about Decision Builder on Fabric, all of our co-engineering efforts together, right? So you got Decision Builder on Fabric. We talked this morning about SAS Viya Workbench, how it started on AWS, but now is in private preview on Azure. We've done a lot of great work together via Copilot. We talked about that this morning. That's all built on top of Azure OpenAI services. And so we're really just, DataMaker, which we also talked about, that's also on the Azure marketplace. So all these kind of co-engineering efforts and just tons of great work happening together.
So you guys have been doing decision intelligence for a long time, right? You're known for that,
right?
And you do it really well.
That's right.
So by integrating into Microsoft Fabric, what is that bringing?
Yeah, it was interesting, Scott, when we looked at kind of Fabric, and we knew we wanted to do something with Microsoft in the Fabric space. And you've got this notion of Fabric where they're bringing data, they're bringing compute kind of to customer problems. Yeah. When we looked at it, we felt like there was this opportunity where we have intelligent decisioning on kind of the pure Viya side, and we felt like decisioning was something, it was a capability we could bring into the Fabric ecosystem that would truly be complementary to what Microsoft was already doing in Fabric. And so intelligent decisioning and now Decision Builder in Fabric is really all about that kind of last mile of AI and analytics. It's like, okay, great, I've got data, I use that data to train a model, fantastic, good results, but how do I actually take that model out into my enterprise? How do I surround it maybe and ensemble it with other models or business rules? And it's all, that last mile is really the kind of that's where you get into some of the tricky parts of actually getting to real value, real business value with AI and analytics. So yeah, we're excited about it.
And on the AI front, if there's anything, at least I've been learning, is it's probably the ultimate team sport in high tech, right?
Yeah.
You got to work together more than ever.
That's
so
right.
I'm assuming this partnership through the Fabric brings the ecosystem together too, right?
Yeah.
More choice and...
So think of Fabric as being, Fabric was designed to be like what we call one lake. So many organizations today, as they grow, they have different data silos. So the issue that Fabric addresses is it lets the AI is all about data, right?
Right.
You have the right data, you're going to have a very powerful AI. So what Fabric does, connects all these different data silos and makes them available for you to use in AI. So it creates like an abstraction layer. You don't have to worry if the data is in SharePoint or SQL or even on AWS or Google. It's there, you can consume it. Then on top of it, we provide this foundation, and then we provide the large language models which we train with responsible AI. All of that then we make available to the gentleman here, right? And then his job is, he builds a platform on top of ours.
That's right, yeah, so you see Fabric as this kind of horizontal capability, or even just the world of Microsoft services as a horizontal capability. Right. And then SAS, we're really interested, still a horizontal perspective, but we're kind of instantiating the analytics lifecycle kind of on top of that or within all of that. Of, like, how do you go from data to modeling to actually kind of that last mile of deployment, decisioning, those kind of things. So, yeah.
So can you explain to us through a real world use case about how customers are solving these problems more easily and how it's actually benefiting them in terms of their productivity, in terms of their bottom line? Eduardo?
Well, we have what we call Copilot, right? Which provides individual productivity at the personal level. So you have a Copilot within Office or within, now we have Copilot for Viya as well. I think it's in preview, correct? Yeah. So that provides individual productivity. This is already in place. We're now moving to what we call agentic AI, where you have AI that can reason itself. Think of 2, 3, or 4 agents cooperating to address a business problem or resolve a solution. That's the next level. That's where we're focusing on in partnership with them. Agentic AI, I think it's the next big wave. Copilots today, agentic AI tomorrow.
Yeah, and maybe some other just kind of thoughts of like practical real world examples. So if you take intelligent decisioning, which we were just talking about, and we think of intelligent decisioning as, these decision flows really are, you're instantiating agents. Those agents know how to actually use models, they know how to use business rules to get to a business outcome. So how does that get used in the real world? Well, lots of financial institutions all across the world use intelligent decisioning to make decisions about, like your credit card swipe and kind of fraudulent transactions. And so that's how you see kind of these decision flows, these agents being instantiated into kind of real world use cases. And those decision flows, it's really like kind of this visual programming palette of sort. You're building them in kind of this drag and drop interface, and now you add copilots on top of that and you make it just that much more accessible and productive. So,
I think of Microsoft roles here as providing the framework for the agents, the different large language models that run responsibly, that are scalable at a global basis with a solid infrastructure that you can use with the compute and the storage, but it's not industry specific, right? The use cases really come from Jared here. He builds a use case for fraud, for instance, right? On top of the solid foundation we give them.
Yeah, well said.
And your experience now is in financial services, right?
Correct.
Up in New York. And we've always said if you can solve these kind of problems in financial services, maybe life sciences, there's a very small number of industries where
super regulated.
The velocity of all the decisions you have to make.
That's right.
The trust you have to have in them, the compliance.
Highly regulated, yes.
Yeah, highly regulated.
Explainable, highly regulated, right? And without, with the right, no bias. There's a lot of there. We call that responsible AI, and that's another benefit we give to our friend here. We build the right guardrails in our LLMs to avoid prompt injection, which would be a bad actor trying to hijack the AI. So that guardrail, that framework, which is necessary for a regulated industry like financial services, is what we make available.
Yeah, it's interesting. I love that you guys mentioned the notion of health and life sciences, financial services, kind of AI, but kind of in this, secure regulatory environment. I think about our two companies, like I know from the SAS perspective, like we've been playing in those industries for years, so like who's better positioned, right, to kind of be this intermediary kind of translating, like this is what's happening in the market, this is what our customers demand, how can we bring all this together in a responsible way?
In a responsible way. And scalable.
Yeah.
At a global level. And safe. Hacker-proof, blah, 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 blah. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really a good partnership.
Yeah.
I'm curious about what you would say sets this partnership apart. One of the things that really came through when you were talking early, when we started this conversation, Jared, is how much you enjoy working together. And there's so many, it seems like your cultures are similar and there's a lot of cross-pollination opportunities. As Scott said, this is a team sport.
Yeah.
So I'm curious how you would describe this SAS-Microsoft partnership as uniquely positioned to bring this kind of decisioning capability to customers.
Yeah, I mean, I think about, like I just mentioned, think about you've got got these two companies. They're both like celebrating their 50-year anniversaries, right? You know,
they're the middle-aged of the technology industry.
And so
comfortable now.
It's a comfortable way.
You've got this kind of powerhouse on the desktop now, cloud computing, like reinvigorated, just this super impressive engineering culture. Then on the SaaS side, you've got, and I don't feel like this is an exaggeration, a company that kind of in some ways created the whole space of like big data analytics, and now you're bringing all that together, and we really are, like, I do think it's a unique partnership. I meet with the Microsoft team all the time. They're in Cary, we're in Redmond. Our engineering teams are locked together. I mean, they work together, they scrum together, they develop together, code together, and it's Microsoft is very much invested in our future, and we're very much invested in theirs. So, yeah.
Those are two companies which really excel at what they do from a product point of view. Very customer-centric, the cultures are very similar. Yeah. So it's a good match.
And highly trusted.
Yeah.
And highly trusted.
And proven.
Yeah.
I want to head just a little bit into the future.
Okay,
where you guys are going to go here.
Yeah. Okay.
So obviously we've been on this journey over a long period of time, descriptive analytics, then we get predictive and then prescriptive. And now we're moving into the world of AI decision intelligence.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I think kind of resets things a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So I'm curious to where you see all that heading. I loved in the general session the unicorn sitting on the rainbow.
Right.
And because generative AI is correlation based, right? It's statistical probabilities.
Yeah.
A prediction is not a judgment.
Sure. Yeah.
And you need judgments to make decisions. So I'm just curious to where SAS is heading in that direction, then how you guys are going to partner, because you're obviously doing a lot in that space too with agents, and where do you think this all heads?
Yeah, I mean, interesting question. I mean, as we were kind of talking earlier, I mean, I think, you think about things like, causal AI, causal modeling, that's an area where we've done a lot of research and have a lot of capabilities in the Viya platform already. I also think though, when you think about our partnership and kind of where we're going together, I really think we're just kind of getting started when it comes to the ways that generative AI can complement analytics and those kind of things. I also think when we partner together, we talked about quantum on stage a lot this morning. That's an area already in our partnership that we're also exploring together, because Microsoft has made a ton of investments in quantum. They'll continue exposing quantum kind of through Azure services. That's another area where we're very much looking to work together and complement each other. So I mean, when we think about the future and seeing the future, I think the things that we're working on right now together are going to be the future. So
yeah, this is, I like to say, I get it. In 2 weeks, I'm obsolete, because within Microsoft, I got to tell you, it's amazing. We think and learn something. Our prompt engineering, blah, 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 nope, that's obsolete. We don't need to do that. We have an agent that will do the prompt for another agent. So it's moving so fast. It's really hard to predict the future. What I can predict is that we're going to continue to work together, that we'll be successful, and that our customers are going to love it.
Yeah. You're gonna have a job, you're just gonna have superpowers. So
yes, and win the New York lottery. That's add that to
then it doesn't matter, does it?
Then it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, awesome.
Well, things are moving so fast, and companies are grappling with increasing volumes of data and the pressure to act quickly and to have these solutions.
Right.
I'm curious to how you're helping them build these decision flows, but also making sure that they feel comfortable with what their concerns are, and how you're helping them allay their concerns. So maybe I should say, what are the biggest concerns you're hearing from customers, and how are you helping them overcome those concerns and hurdles?
Right. Yeah, I mean, so in no particular order, concerns that we hear from customers, I often will have a variation of a conversation like this with a customer, which is, we've got a lot of internal POCs going on, we're spending a ton of money on all things AI, but we're struggling to actually recognize actual real business value. Like, we got a lot of demos, a lot of fancy demos, but we're struggling to translate those into actual value in our business. And so that's where I think when Viya kind of comes to the table, we're bringing all these years of expertise of kind of getting our customers through this prescribed, okay, you start with data, you explore your data, you build your models, you deploy your models. That flow is very much focused at those exact concerns, right? Like, okay, is my data in the shape that I need it to be in for my models? Okay, when I train the models, are they accurate? But not just accurate, do they have bias in them? Are they properly, are they fair, right? Okay, now I'm satisfied there. how do I govern those models? Because models decay, the world changes around us, are the results still good, you know? And then, you know, from a deployment perspective, can I monitor them? Can I see lineage? Can I understand kind of where I started, where I ended? Viya's really focused at all of those kind of concerns, but I think the biggest one right now is people are trying to say like, okay, this all looks cool, back to the rainbow and the unicorns, right? Yeah. How do I actually get to the real value? Because there is real value, and Microsoft, I think, is really on the bleeding edge of kind of like, this is how transformative some of this can be, and so there's real value. We're trying to help them get there. But.
And I know we're going to have to wrap up here in a second, but one last quick question, or maybe it's more of an observation that you can comment on. Yeah. Just from all my conversations, two big things here. One is, when it comes to decision-making agents, trust is the currency for the innovation.
That's right.
And people are only going to use these things if they trust them.
Yeah,
you guys are both well positioned, individually and together, to help drive that concern. I think the second thing is, when you get into intelligence of decisions, it's always very domain specific and nuanced markets, not just within industries, but within very specific, like legal case law, for example. You know, you get very, you know, domain specific. And you guys both are heavy duty experts in different industries and the domains.
That's right.
Agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think those are the things that are getting, you know, customers to slow down a little bit. It's a trust issue, and it's, the decisions are very, I need to have domain expertise, my knowledge.
You know, Scott, from the SaaS perspective, I was actually having this conversation with somebody earlier, like, we really think about like our kind of, you know, between the market, what's happening, our customers, being this kind of trusted partner, right? Of translating like, okay, here's how you take this and actually get to real value. And we've done that historically across the years, and we've done that in industries, in specific domains, right? And so like, we think that's where we can really, really bring some unique experience, and it's great when we can do that, come to the table with a customer, with a partner like Microsoft. So.
Terrific note to end on. Thank you so much, Jared and Eduardo.
Great
great conversation.
Thanks for having us.
I'm Rebecca Knight for Scott Hebner. Stay tuned for more of theCUBE's live coverage of SAS Innovate 2025. You're watching theCUBE, the leader in enterprise tech news and analysis.